Let's take a look at these two things. On one hand, you have a multi-billion-dollar Japanese mobile game where anime girls run races and sing J-pop. On the other is the dirt and grit reality of the Philippine horse racing industry, an old sport shaped by tradition, local communities, and generations of people who grew up around the sport. Normally, these two worlds would never touch. They are fundamentally different cultures, but lately in the Philippines, that boundary is disappearing. We're talking about Umamusume. This is more than just a cute video game based on the 2017 anime. In the same year it officially went global, Umamusume won Best Mobile Game at the Game Awards 2025.
And the Game Award goes to Umamusume Pretty Derby!
And once you look closer, you'll realize it isn't just about anime characters or gacha pulls. This is a story about how a digital obsession is slowly changing the way people view a dying real-world sport. So before we talk about the impact, it helps to understand what the game actually is. This is Umamusume Pretty Derby, developed by Sai Games. And at first glance, it honestly sounds ridiculous. We're talking about horse girls, the personifications of real legendary Japanese racehorses, like Special Week, Silent Suzuka, and Tokai Teo. You train them, you plan their routines, and then you watch them race. It's a bizarre mix of high-stakes sports management and idol culture. And when the game finally reached a global audience, it took off fast, especially here in the Philippines. But how do you actually play it? When you strip away the anime aesthetics, Umamusume is really a training and planning game. Each run puts you in charge of one horse girl across a fixed career timeline, loosely inspired by the early years of a real racehorse's career. In every turn, you choose how she spends her day, training, resting, racing, or bonding with support characters. Each training option increases specific stats: speed, stamina, power, guts, and wisdom. But this also builds fatigue. If you push too hard, your success rate drops. Fail a training session and you lose stats and morale. But the most interesting mechanic, the one that really connects to the actual horse racing industry, is the inheritance system. In the real world, horse racing is built on genealogy. It's about bloodlines. Umamusume replicates this by making you choose parents before your character even starts training. Traits and bonuses get passed down, meaning you're not just preparing one runner, you're shaping future ones too. Then comes the race itself. All those hours of planning and stat building come down to a 2-minute simulation you can't control directly. If she gets blocked by another runner, or if her wisdom stat isn't high enough to time her skill activation, you just have to sit there and watch it happen. It's an agonizing experience that perfectly captures the anxiety of a real horse owner watching their investment run on the dirt. But if you win, this is where the game leans into the surreal. In the Umamusume universe, the winner of the race becomes the center of an idol concert right there on the track. It's this jarring, beautiful reward system. You go from the grit and sweat of a sports management simulator to a high-gloss J-pop music video in a matter of seconds. And for millions of players, that transition is the ultimate hook. As bizarre as this framework is, it's doing something very real. It's teaching a generation of gamers the logic of racing, pacing, preparation, positioning, and long-term planning. And once you understand the logic of the game, it suddenly starts to make sense in real life too, even in local horse racing scenes you might have never paid attention to before. But here's where this gets really significant, because gamers actually didn't stay behind their screen. They went above and beyond and started looking into the actual history of these horses. What sets Umamusume apart from other sports or gacha games is how closely it's tied to reality. The characters aren't fictional athletes. Every character is based on a real racehorse, with personality and story arcs pulled from actual racing history. Even subtle design details like ear accessories and color choices are intentional references to the real horses behind them. One of the most well-known examples is Haru Urara. In real life, she became famous not for winning, but for never winning a single race across her entire career. Instead of being forgotten, she became a symbol of perseverance, and the game keeps that story intact. On the opposite end of the spectrum is Goldship, A talented but notoriously unpredictable horse, remembered for the so-called 12 billion yen incident, when his unexpected loss reportedly wiped out massive betting expectations. In the game, that same chaos becomes part of his identity, turning real racehorsing lore into character-driven storytelling that fans recognize and remember. Because of this, many players end up researching the real horses behind their favorite characters. They look up race footage, statistics, rivalries, and even what happened to these horses after retirement. In a way, Umamusume turns horse racing history into something approachable, emotional, and accessible to audiences who may have never followed the sport before. Internationally, Umamusume's influence goes beyond game sales and fan art. There have been multiple documented cases where fans, after learning about real horses through the game, organized donation drives to support retired racehorses. One of the most cited examples is Meisho Doto. After his Umamusume character gained popularity, fans discovered that his real-life counterpart was struggling financially during retirement. The resulting donation drive surpassed its original goal and helped improve his care. And then there's Haru Urara again. When she passed away in September 2025 at age 29, fans from all over the world shared artwork, messages, and personal reflections online, not just mourning a horse, but honoring what her story meant to them. These cases show how Umamusume has created a community that doesn't just consume content, but acts on the stories it learns. Even without an official release in the Philippines, the game has still found its way to a dedicated local fan base. Filipino players participate in Facebook groups, Discord servers, and live stream chats. Local streamers and content creators have also played a role in introducing the game to new audiences. On the surface, it might seem like all of this stays online, but some of it doesn't. While Umamusume exists outside the local racing industry, its influence shows up in smaller, quieter ways, especially in how people get curious about the racing itself. For some fans, curiosity eventually turned into showing up. There have been cases where Filipino Umamusume players started visiting local racetracks, not to play the game, but to simply watch races in person, to see how pacing works, to notice positioning, to understand why stamina, timing, and lineage matter. And when you watch enough races, you start recognizing names. Local racehorses began getting attention. One example often mentioned by fans is Hagdang Bato, a local racehorse who later went on to win his first Grade 1 race. For some newer fans, moments like this felt familiar, not because of the game directly, but because Umamusume had already taught them how to appreciate a racing journey. Not every player makes that leap, of course, but even a small number matters because it means a younger digital-first audience is learning how to watch horse racing. Unlike the international cases, there haven't been large organized donation drives or viral campaigns here, at least not yet. The impact on the Philippines is more subtle. It's a curiosity. It's people asking questions. It's fans connecting the logic of a mobile game to something happening right in front of them. And for a sport that rarely intersects with gaming culture, that kind of crossover is already something new. So now we're curious. Would a game like this ever make you want to watch a real horse race, even just once? And if the local gaming community ever showed up together, where do you think this would happen? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and follow Gaming Pinas for the deep dives you didn't know you needed.